Hello, this is Vance, and this is Tuesday, September the 22nd, 2015. And these are the CL trades for today using the slow hand method for price action. Well, we had a kind of like a range day today more than anything else. Prices kind of broke through. We have overall, we've got the chart up here, the 800 tick chart. See, on the overnight, we had the sell off. Price came down to the 40, came down to 46, 45.37 on the daily low. It was just before the open, just before 9 o'clock when that happened. And it was that 45.37 area really kind of held all day. Price came down close to it. It kind of, I guess it must have been buyers resident in that area because it kind of drove up price every time price got kind of close to it. A couple of kind of following moves here. I mean, if you look at from the overnight, I originally had this, the first couple of swings down here. This narrow channel had a pullback. It broke the channel, pulled back, and there's maybe an entry bound here. Of course, this is way in the morning. This is like 5 in the morning. Price moved back down. I'm kind of expecting another move down. However, I'll show you what I saw here. From here, we had this move down to this area. Had a pullback, kind of the capitulation, a bit of a tight trading range here, and then price kind of sold off again. And so you see you have the first move pulls back and the second move, and down to this area right here, I was feeling that it was kind of setting up for a bottom, and it was right at the open. And so this had this kind of this channel right in here. It breaks through the channel, fails to a new low, almost tests the bottom. And then if you look at your 15-tick stop box, you look at it, if you entered right here, and I thought this was really the first trade. It was just right at, just after 9 o'clock where this kind of firmed up here. And I'm thinking that we either test this area right here or this top right here. And either way, there was room to get out to the top, these double tops. So you can see right here. So price moves up from here. We had a pullback, first pullback, second pullback, another opportunity to get in, especially on this strong bull bar here. Now, again, from the other perspective, once price really turned around, once there seemed to be support, you can see this trend line is broken, comes back and retests, and then kind of springs out of here. So you've got to figure that this, the daily low, this area is going to be some resistance, maybe not right on it, but near it. And so that's something to keep in mind. And it comes into play later on. I'll talk a little bit about that. But then we have this move out to this, makes this new high on this, almost retests this area. It pulls back. Let me just kind of get this thing out here. It pulls back the first time, fails a second time. This is the second entry long on this. Now this is a bear bar right here, and there is some overlap. But if you limit in and you hold your, get your stop down as little as possible, but you can see it's right off the EMA. You see definitely the two moves down and maybe even a third failure. And once it comes down here, even if you get in, if you held on to it, it might take some to hold on to this particular trade, because I'm thinking that, this is price moves up here. We do have the two failures, and that we do have maybe some room. But once it kind of firms up, and this is a strong bar, and almost you're thinking this is a trap, because this is a second entry short, but it's above the EMA. Is it going to retest a third time? Well, I don't know. So I thought this was a pretty decent setup. I liked it, and that's why I marked it. But you'd had to wait through it. So I mean, unfortunately, it's a good setup here. From the fact that first failure, second failure, and then looks like a good setup. Now this is right at the top. It did get resistance across here. Thankfully, the resistance wasn't enough to take you out. Okay, as long as your stop was below here, if you closed on this one, and then if you failed to get in on this particular, you can see that price came back down here, retested this, and then again maybe eliminated from this area. But I like that trade. It might have, you could even put it, in hindsight now, it looks like more of a green trade. But I liked it at the time. That's why I like that setup. Price did move up, and you can see it came up to here. And once it got to this top, almost that second move up, did have another pullback. Again, first pullback fails, second pullback. A little bit of this capitulation, but again, the same kind of reasoning. It's almost like a repeat of this area. You've got this kind of this overlap where you've got this conglomeration. Now you do have the trend channel up here, like these off the first couple of swings off the top. And so you see that price does firm up, doesn't quite retest a new low, but it breaks through the channel, pulls back, and then it moves up again. And again, if you limit it in down low enough, you've had enough room to get out to this top right here. I was thinking that maybe this would be the area where there would be some hesitation, but as you can see, just move right through this top and kind of move strongly up here. Now, this is a second entry short at the top, but you don't want to take it right out here because this is the high of actually from after the open. But price fails, it breaks the channel. There's really no place to get in here on a short. You can see it does break the channel, it does come back, and so really the first time, I mean, this is after the retest, but you know, you want to see it come back up to here a little bit more, at least take some of this back, unless, you know, because this may turn around. Now we're below the EMA, and you don't know this is going to happen, but at the same time, you're kind of close to this area here, so it doesn't give you, if you wait, excuse me, if you wait till this bar here closes with the trend, it's really not even a second entry, it's just a first entry. You don't have enough room before you get where the previous support was. But as it was, price continued to fail down to this area. Now, it finally breaks right here. Here's the break, a test to a new low. Now we're really in the ranges where these double bottoms are. And so that's why I thought this was a trade to take. It's aggressive. That's why it's in green. Whether or not it's going to hold down here, I mean, we already had it. It was tested twice. Is this the third test? But that's why you want to, if you're going to buy, you're going to buy in a limit order with your stop below the daily low, looking as the daily low as the support. So that's what my thought was. Even though we had this really strong move, because if we have this retracement, it looks like it's kind of stacking up. We might get enough to kind of retest somewhere in this neighborhood. Maybe there's going to hit resistance here, which as you can see, it did. It did retest, pulled back, but at least it gave you your 15 ticks. There's enough room at least to get up to where I thought it was. I didn't think it was going to stall here. I thought if anything, it was going to be a move up higher. But then it started going to a range. And this range, you see price moved up here, pulls back, moves up again, pulls back, retests this range. So that kind of confirms it. That's why I've got this marked out. Again, limit order. Again, it's in green. If you're going to limit in, you got to limit it as low as possible. You know, you got to give yourself enough room. And these double tops, you maybe 15 ticks. That's why it's quite a narrow range. It's just over 15 ticks. It's probably about 18 to 20 ticks. This range, you know, from this bottom here, basically from this where this closes is even less. But from the close to the double tops, you can see kind of seesaws back and forth here. So if you're going to trade this really narrow range, which you're going to have to use limit orders to get in, and try to get in so that it gives you the best opportunity to get your 15 ticks off, at least for the first contracts. And you can see that it kind of seesawed between these two areas. Now, once price got to this area again, you think it's going to retest this area, and look at where the hesitation happens right at these double tops, where this is I guess this is the fourth top, really, quadruple top. You know, double top, triple top, quadruple top. You can see there's a pullback here. This is really like a breakout pullback long. And so getting in here facilitates you, allowing you the first contracts to get up before it hits the this previous triple top, and but it moves up, and then it goes into, again, breaks this short-term trend channel, and then we have a second entry short right here. Now, I marked this. Is this a confirmed second entry short? Well, it's a challenging one because it may very well be the first break in that we might have this other measured leg up here. So, you know, like this is a new section that's going to be heading up. But if you have this capitulation here, and if you can limit in, you can see that it's really mega. It may come back down and test these areas, because this has been the area of former support in the past. So it's kind of questionable. That's why I marked this one in green. It does make its way down. We got your first contract, depending where you got in, your first contract out fairly quickly. It does pull back, move back down again, retests this area where I've got these circles. Again, so this is a second entry long, but it's off kind of a messy bar, messy doji sort of thing. Again, limit in, gives you the opportunity to get out here, pulls back down here. Now, pretty straightforward in that respect. Do you short here? I don't know about that. This is a second entry short. It's a pretty strong bar. It looks like a trap. It would have worked, but it's not a lot of room to get to the bottom. I mean, you could have taken this one. That's a trade that you could have taken this on this bar right here, because you can see price moved up, pulled back, moved up again, and then immediate failure. So you could have taken a trade there. Didn't really like it. I didn't really like the short trades today to the short side because of this, this capitulation here, and this might stand up and just kind of take off in the other direction. And as you can see, if you put a trade in here for a short, it took a while to bounce out of there. You have this, and it surely came back to here. Probably came back 10 ticks into your 15 tick stop. So that would have caused me some, it would have been a little bit nervy to take that. However, as you can see, it sets up with another strong trade and then starts failing from there. Now, you would have gotten your 15 ticks out right here. Your runner would have been safe until it gets to the bottom here. Now, why did I mark this one in purple? I marked this trade in purple because this looks like a pretty decent second entry long on this bar right here. Price makes a new high. Here's the first entry, pulls back. Really, this is the second entry here, but you don't really go into second entry on a bear bar like that, bear situation. It does pull back. It pulls back, touches the channel, and it's very tempting to go long here. Even though we haven't had a real clean break of this channel, look at these other where prices have bounced to the left of the chart. You can see where there was former support in these areas, and so that was pretty tempting to take. But as you can see, it failed. And so even though that if it would have worked out, it would have been a great trade. You're thinking it's going to retest in this area, but again, it just it would be. I marked it in purple only because it failed. But you could have marked this in a green trade if it would have been successful had it obviously if it had gone to target. But you can see it failed again. Pushed back down to this area, couldn't break the EMA, and that was the question. What's good going for it is it's in the right direction. It has stacked up a little bit. It's at the bottom of the channel. That's a trade that you could say that would go. It's the bottom of this channel, and this is an area that has held for the last hour, almost hour and roughly about the last hour. The disadvantages is that it hasn't broken this trend channel yet, and it's the momentum in the most recent over the last few minutes has been down. So again, whether we're going to retest and because it hasn't broken this channel or not, we'd have to wait and see. But it was tempting to take that trade. As you can see, it did fail. So now you have to reevaluate and say, well, maybe reevaluation is that this looks like it's the break. Okay, this is the break here, but it doesn't close outside, moves down to this area, tries again. This is another break, but this break it closes outside and then comes back down to this area. You see what I'm saying? The close is close enough in trading. I mean, you can't make this. It's not going to give you a go, no go signal. The only thing that I was looking at more, the overriding idea right down at this area was the low of the day. We had some resistance or support in these areas right here, right across. And let's put it at the resistance is anywhere from at the time 45.46, 45.39 to this area right here. So 45.61. So this 15 tick area here looked to me like if you got a good reason to buy, than to get on that side. And so that's what my thoughts were. Now, we really kind of got the second entry long right at this bottom. Again, I marked this one in green because it's a bear bar. You've got some capitulation here. This is really on the basis of the fact that it's really at the low of the day, and that I'm thinking that this low of the day is going to be kind of like support. The low of the day. Low of the day within the overnight, by the way. See? Let me just move this in here. Right here. Prior to the open, was just a few minutes before 9 o'clock, is just right here. So looking at it from a macro view, thinking that this is going to hold and that it's more like a larger range, that's why I looked at this particular trade. Now, at least to retest maybe this area, and as you can see, it overshot the bottom of this channel, came up to here, and you can go with the resistance. Now, this is why I marked this in purple. I marked this in purple because you can see right across these tops. Let me mark this in. Right across these tops here were previous resistance, right here, okay? Right at this area. And look at this. When price gets up here, it's kind of unbroken. I mean, we had some slight pullbacks, but when it gets to this area, look at the hesitation here. Pulls back here, pulls back again. So you have to say that there's like sellers here, like trying to drive price back down there, but they were overwhelmed from the buyers that were waiting down here, and that's when they took prices higher. So you see, this is the first entry full, so it's almost like a breakout pullback. You've got two legs back to the EMA, back to this channel that's drawn off these bottoms here. And so that's why I marked this trade. Now, not quite enough for, it's about enough room to get out your 15 ticks. But once it broke through here, we had another pullback, first pullback, second pullback. Again, another trap, it looks like. Think the people, traders I think it's going to go short, got trapped. And look at how it rocketed right out of here. Like, it was really quick. It really ripped up here fairly quickly. So there was evidence that the sellers or the safety stops were being hit. Anybody that was short here, expecting it to go down further, let's say that they were in the trade and that they made their targets or whatever. When price got back to these safety stops that were resident above here, it just couldn't drive it back down. There wasn't enough people convinced to take the price lower, and as a result, these sellers turned into buyers, and that's why it kind of ripped right up here. And you'll see that happen. I mean, at the top of these channels are areas of where there is resistance. Once it breaks through and once it gets once the new buyers come into the marketplace, it will drive prices that much higher. And if I look at it from the perspective of measured move, and you look at it really worked its way out quite nicely. Let me just show you there. Here's your measured move up to here. It pulls back the first time, pulls back the second time, and you got to think that it's actually going to be up here sometimes. Look how far we got. Now, it even overshot that by some. This is toward the end of the day. This is really near the end of the day. This is after 2 o'clock. So this movement here, all this move right from here, right to here, from 2 o'clock, 2 to 2:30, 45.71 to 46.49. So you had the 100 ticks, buck happened in the last half hour of trading. So it was like pent up demand. Once price moved over this areas and overcame this area right here, you can see kind of shot up and went to the high of the day. Tested the high of the day. Not where they opened, but in the overnights or during the daily sessions. So, and had it not shut it down, I would suspect that we would probably get to maybe the opening price. The price was trying to move up there until before the close. And so, looking at these bottoms here, I think it's pretty clear to see how many of these trades do you really need. Come on. Frankly, I was finished pretty early today. I was finished before just right in this area right here. This move was pretty much it, right in this area. You only need 1 or 2 of these trades in a day. Didn't get any of this short, but I mean, this kind of moved down so rapidly that there wasn't really any time to really think about this. I mean, there was not an opportunity to get in. I mean, this is probably but these 3 bars right here, from 10:16 to 10:19, these took 3 minutes. And so you see there's really tremendous momentum going down here. Some sells coming very quickly. It did pull back, hesitate, another strong bar here, but whether or not we're going to hit resistance here doesn't get you a chance, and we're kind of away from the EMA, and as you can see, but it did drop, the bottom did drop out. So this could be, on a shorter time frame, this would have been the first move back, and you would have seen on a shorter time frame price pull back twice and then head in this direction. And you can see that that's your second move, on a shorter time frame. But that happened very rapidly. Whether it was news driven or not, I don't know. But like if you're trading a shorter chart, but I don't do that. And the reason is quite simple. Like, this is one of those examples where a shorter chart would have showed you to get in, but to be able to pull the trigger on a short chart, I can't do it. Maybe I'm sure there are traders out there that can. I'm sure there are traders in the CL that can trade a 400 tick chart or a 1 minute chart and do it very successfully. But I can't. I can't do it. It has to be an 800 tick chart with this kind of movement. Otherwise, I don't see it. And that's pretty much it. So now this is 19 minutes. That's it for now. You have any questions, let me know. And this is Vance. Bye for now.